Hello and welcome to the Eric and Liz show. Today it's more of an Eric show because Liz unfortunately is under the weather and cannot zoom in. We have today on the show, we have Hissin, which is the general manager of the Lafayette Hotel in San Diego, and Jaton Gunter, who is a book author, wrote the book Fruit in the Glass, Wine and Mysteries, Facts and Opinions, and has also a wine show. And just right before we circle back to you, Dieter, you had your 100th wine show, Jaton, didn't you, the other day?
Yeah, I did. I was very privileged to be able to get 100 in the can, you know. I never expected to go that far.
Congratulations to that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Dieter Hissin, so general manager of the Lafayette Hotel in San Diego. So obviously one of the hard hitters, parts of the population, our hotel workers, restaurant workers, and which have been very impacted by COVID-19. Just give us a quick background, of yourself, what you've done to actually become the general manager of the Lafayette Hotel.
Well, how to get here? Well, I'm one of these guys like you with a funny accent. So I grew up somewhere else. Grew up in Germany, started in the kitchen, moved my way to the front of the house through a number of different hotels, from a couple of different Michelin star restaurants in the kitchen to some nice hotels in Europe, and then went to hotel business school, ended up working for the Ritz-Carlton here in the United States, in Laguna, opened the Ritz-Carlton in Asia for them, and then just stayed for the most part here in Southern California. I was in Newport Beach for the better part of like 16 years, actually a little more, 17 years at two different hotels. One of them was the Balboa Bay Resort. I was there for a long time and ended up being general manager, and I was the general manager of the Island Hotel for a time period. Then I ended up coming down to San Diego, working for the Hotel Del, running their food and beverage, which is quite a bit of a big operation. And then ended up wanting to stay in San Diego, and ended up here at the Lafayette as GM about 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago in the meantime. So it's a nice place to hang out in San Diego. I was also in Orange County. San Diego seems to be a little bit more laid back, so I really enjoy being here.
That is Eddie. So, when COVID hit, it's basically an operation, which was running at 100%, just stepped on the brake, went to zero. How many of your staff had to leave their work?
I'm probably cut down by about 50% at this point, from what I was about a year ago, roughly, probably even a little bit more, to be honest with you. I just recently looked at our numbers from last year to this year, and in terms of like full-time equivalent staff, right? I mean, if you don't have any more banquets, you're looking at a 50% hotel occupancy as a maximum for us, basically. And that's sort of the sad part. I could sell out on the weekends, for example, but the big attraction for my hotel is the pool area, which is quite well known in San Diego as a pool to hang out during the daytime with good music and good drinks and food. And we, in order to do like the social distancing somewhat correctly, we just can't go over 50% of hotel occupancy. Everybody that stays at the hotel has access to the pool. So, with lack of a better word, you're looking at not running a 135 room hotel, you're running like a 65 room hotel at the moment, so to speak. And consequently, the staffing had to be, adjusted, right? The rates that we had last year in the summertime, if you think about last year in the summer, every year in the summer, in July, you got July 4th, then you have Pride weekend, and we're very close to Hillcrest, so we're a very, very busy hotel during Pride weekend, and then you have either a week break, or you have right after that you have Comic-Con, and those are just heavy events for all of San Diego, and all of that has obviously gone away. So it's been if you look at the revenue numbers, it's even worse of a picture in terms of it's not 50% less. It's actually even a lower number than 50% reduced compared to last year's numbers.
Yeah. So what are the hotel gods predicting? You know, when is business going to pick up? Maybe pick up. Is there anything in the talks, or is it just like everybody is on standby?
Yeah, I mean, I think nobody has a crystal ball, right? But there was one big convention, which was ASH, which is in the beginning of December usually, which just canceled about a week ago. They were the last ones. They were hanging on to a straw to maybe be able to do their convention, and they have just to cancel. So there's literally nothing going on at the convention center for the rest of this year, and the beginning of next year is questionable too. So I have a few friends in downtown hotels, and the hotels are open, but the catering side and the group convention side obviously is completely not existing, so to speak, because of the regulations. You cannot gather more than 100 people or 50 people. I don't even know what it is at the moment. We don't even look at that anymore as much, because it's not, we cannot have any kind of events, so to speak. We have a small wedding with 25 people where we make small tables and we have them all 6 feet apart on the outside that we have this weekend. That's the only function, the first functions we have since March. The first function we have here at the hotel since March. To answer your question, what the hotel gods are saying, again, nobody has a crystal ball, but there are some downtown properties that tell their catering staff and their sales staff to be expected to be called back in the middle of 2021.
Oh my gosh.
So that is
hearing that, it's like just make nobody happy. But it's better to know what's coming that way. And I think if hotels are already thinking that way, and like in San Diego, the tourism industry is the second largest industry after the military. That of course has a enormous impact, on the economy, period. I mean, just occupancy tax. Wow. I still have a little bit my finger on the pulse, but I can definitely say that there I felt like I had taken my finger off the pulse completely, and that the patient hardly, that the heart was hardly beating. So, that's well, it's the news of the day. Put it that way. There is.
But to give you a little bit of glimmer of hope, I mean, there's a lot of, there seem to be a lot of drive-in traffic of people that like to, just like the Arizona market and LA and Orange County, that are just, you cannot really travel, you cannot hop really on an airplane, or you don't really want to with your family. So a lot of people are just driving locally. And so we have a pretty big backyard, I want to say. So we do have some nice drive-in traffic. Is it replacing the banquet business and the group business? It is not, of course, right? And the thing obviously is, if you're looking at September, October, November, when you had some group business, and that was your bread and butter during that time, because the tourists are not actually, not really around as much. So we don't know how that's all going to shape up. We're trying to go after families that have kids that do remote learning. You can do that anywhere as long as you have good Wi-Fi. So there's a lot of different little approaches to kind of make up for the lost revenues. But, again, it'll be an uphill battle for the next, few months to a year.
Yeah. So you have to be very inventive about what you do. Just let me come back for a second to the Lafayette as a hotel. I mean, it's quite a historic hotel in San Diego.
Yeah. So it was built in 1946, and it had quite a bit of the Hollywood elite that was hanging out in the early years of the hotel in the 40s and the 50s, and it still has that history, right? It has a lot of the little glamour of Hollywood. We've got a big Hollywood star in the middle of the lobby because the owner of the hotel had a affinity for Hollywood, and he had a fairly big ego, so he put himself like a fairly oversized, maybe about 15 feet by 15 feet Hollywood star in the middle of the lobby, which we still have, and it's in a terrazzo floor. So it is, it's got a lot of little stories to tell, which makes it special, right? You can build a hotel these days, but you cannot build history, or history is something that you acquire over many years. And so we do have a bit of an advantage there of these kind of things. Our first guest that was here was Bob Hope, right? So, sometimes you tell a young person Bob Hope and they look at you and don't know who that was, but I know you and I are old enough. I don't know how old Jaton is, but you and I are old enough to know who that is. Johnny Weissmuller was the guy that built the tour.
It's like giving me a cue here. And Jaton, it's not that I want to put you on the spot, but do you used to watch Tarzan?
But I used to watch the show Tarzan.
Yes.
I remember I watched it on, I did watch it, but it was on Nick at Night, Nickelodeon.
Well, do you remember who the first Tarzan actor was?
I do not.
Johnny Weissmuller. And he actually designed the pool at the Lafayette. Did he?
Oh, interesting.
My memory is not too bad.
I do know about Bob Hope though a little bit. I remember his show.
That is funny. Well, he was.
Eric, I'll share another little story.
Yeah.
Eric, let me share another little story with you real quick. So I had about half a year ago, I had a group of marketing students that somebody I know that does teach at the university here of San Diego, some marketing courses, right? So he brought this group by, and we talked a little bit about hotel marketing and whatever, and I took them downstairs in the bar room, which is the Mississippi bar room, and one of the things that was filmed in Mississippi was the bar scene of Top Gun, where Tom Cruise is singing a cappella to Kenny McGinnis, "You Lost That Loving Feeling," right? So it was filmed here, and I had 17 kids there, and I asked them, it's like, any of you know the movie Top Gun, right? And now, mind you, these are all 21, 22-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
And out of the 17, 2 of them were raising their hand slowly and saying, I think I saw it before. And I understand if somebody doesn't know, Tony Weissmuller and Bob Hope or something, but Top Gun, crying out loud, you should know, but it makes you pretty old.
So, aging yourself, that's all I can say there.
There you go.
But apparently he found a second youth there now. Top Gun 2 coming out soon.
Yeah. So maybe the new generation will be able to check it out.
Yeah, well, they want to know what was the prequel to the sequel. But, let's see. Yeah, Tom Cruise is not getting younger, but apparently he still does his own stunts. I just saw something on it and it was like, oh, okay, if I do my stunts, I usually pay very dearly for them now. The old bones are just not as bendable as they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then, let's take some pain reliever and things go better.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, on that note, Jaton, just tell us a little bit about you and how you ended up being, now on your 100th show, talking about wine, and you have also your talking wine. Oh God, how do you hear it? Talking wine with giants?
Yeah, tasting wine with giants. So basically, it's wine tasting with giants. That's the name of it. So, hi everybody, I'm Jaton Gunter. Basically, when I first started doing online stuff, I really was not into social media at all. I had a friend though that actually runs a social media company, and he kept on telling me, he said, you need to do something consistent when you're reviewing wines. So I was like, you know what, Wednesday is kind of the wine day for, everywhere. So let me just come up with Wine Wednesday and let's see how long it'll last. And that's how it started. It really wasn't anything big at first. And then it just kind of, I kept on going, and I would have like 1 or 2 people who actually looked at it, checked it out. And then it went from 2 to 10. And then it went from 10 to like 30. And then I was like, oh, it's starting to get a little bit of buzz. It's still not crazy on the views, but it does okay. And I'm enjoying it. I enjoy it. I can't believe it got to 100, to be honest with you. So, and then Wine Tasting with Giants was the first thing I started on for a kind of a podcast. I have a lot of friends who are interesting people, in my opinion, own businesses, do things that inspire me to do what I want to do. And so I wanted to start showcasing them. I wanted to spotlight them. And I drink wine, and I love talking about wine. So I decided, you know what, let's taste wine together. Before COVID, we can meet up and video it. But now that COVID has kicked in, now we do it more on Zoom. And so, yeah, I do. It's fun. I've met a lot of people on the internet based off of the show, and then now I'm bringing them into the fold and, like, you know, interviewing them on my show. So I actually just dropped one today. The guy named TJ Douglas. He is in my opinion, an icon. He has a shop named Urban Grape in Boston, and he's written a book called Tasting or Drink Progressively, an amazing book. And I'm always looking for other authors, wine authors, because I wrote my book, Fruit and Glass, right here. I wrote this book, and I'm always surprised when I run into another person who's written a book. So I just kind of reached out to him and asked him if he was interested, because we've been going back and forth online. And the first part of it dropped today on my Instagram. So
that's pretty cool. So what are you drinking today? I mean, I was actually surprised to see you with a red wine, because if the temperatures is anything like here, you know, it's like in the low mid 90s right now. Usually you wouldn't see someone drink wine, I mean red wine at those temperatures, but I know you like red wines a lot.
Yes, I'm on both sides of it. Normally I would be drinking bubbly right now, or a rosé. The thing is, though, every once in a while my palate kind of wants something red, and I always look for, and my objective is to find red wines that I can drink when it's warm outside. Right now, it's not even that hot, though. It's about 75. But I wanted something that's normally fruit forward and light body, for something that I can taste when it's warm outside, and I chill it a little bit. So I chill the bottle a little bit, and then this is perfect. I'm drinking on a Bardolino out of Verona, Italy. It's like a 2018.
Yeah.
You guys probably can't see it, but yeah, Bardolino, kind of a light body, refreshing, decent amount of acid, one you can drink by itself or pair with food. So, and it's hitting the spot right now. So
it does indeed. And also what you do, I mean, in your shows, you know, you're really a wine hunter. You know, you look for very good wines for a very reasonable price. And that's one of the main things you present. And it was funny because in our pre-show, we talked a little bit about that, and then a grocery store came up, you know, and we both were like, oh my gosh, you know, you can get super deals there. And
yes.
So at noon, I drove to the grocery store just to look around. It was really getting hot, and I thought, we have to have a look, you know, at those rosés. And I picked up that. Oh gosh, it's really with the green screen.
There it is. I can see it a little bit. Provence.
Fleur de Provence, which is actually very nice rosé, and I got it for $4.99, and it sells, you know, for $16. It's like ridiculous, you know. You're like, but then again, you know, they're usually one-off wines. They're there, you know, for a week, and then they're sold out, and they never come back.
That's a thing, though, that, like, with that wine, this is why I love what I do so much. My show, right, I have another show called Wine Still of the Week, which I drop every Friday. And basically what I do is I hunt wines that are under $20 that I think over deliver. Then I'll spotlight that wine and then tell you where you can find it. The reason I did that was originally, my original business was I was doing private buying for people. I was helping them set up little small wine collections and stuff. So I would go find wines for them, and it would be like a wine club. So they pay monthly, and they could get from $2. They pay a certain amount for 2 bottles of wine to a full case, and they would pay monthly depending on what they're going for. It taught me to start going through all these wine stores and finding deals. And so that's what led me to doing Wine Store of the Week, because I started building relationships with these people who own these wine stores and grocery stores, and they would call me up and be like, yo, we got a deal on this Bordeaux or this Barolo. And I would swing over there and I'd buy like a couple bottles for this client and a couple bottles for that client, because I know they like Barolo or Bordeaux. So that's how it's all started. That's probably one of my favorite shows, because I really, really enjoy finding steals for people. I think it's sometimes wine stores can be intimidating. You walk in there and you're like, I don't know what to pick. I don't know what this varietal is. It's good to have somebody that can help you out with that and give you something that's over-delivering for the price. That's why I did that. I really enjoy it. That's one of my favorite shows.
So what do you think is going to be the next trend? Because now, I mean, rosés have been very big, and their chief prizes I never would have imagined rosés would achieve. Just because we know the way a rosé is made. So, what do you think? Or I can ask you too, Dieter. What would you think is going to be the next trend, or what do you see in the industry becoming the next trend? Go ahead.
Dieter, you can go first if you want.
Dieter is like,
you're in the hotel business. Go ahead.
Dieter is like, well, first I need the clients, then I can tell you the trends.
There's a lot of if you think about it, I mean, not just necessarily in the wine part, but I mean, if you really look at like the beverage industry, at least this last year, when all this hard seltzers were coming up, right? I mean, you got hard seltzers from from a number of different companies that are all like flavored in some sort, right? And they're great drinks if you go to the beach or if you're out at the pool and it's 90 degrees like today. It's probably better to drink something like that with a little bit of a lower alcohol content and refreshing than if you drink maybe an IPA that has, that has a whole lot more alcohol content, right? But in terms of the wine industry, I think I don't know, I would love to see a little bit something with like sparkling wine. I think that hasn't been touched really. Like sparkling wine is pretty much always the same somewhat. It's like you have your great producers out of France. You do have some places out of here in the United States that do pretty well, but it's kind of like you see the same stuff on the shelf always. And I think there is some room for them to come up with something, right? I think if you want to ask for trends, right? I think the rosé is going to ride a little bit longer because it's great wines, especially here for Southern California, for all this warm weather that we have. I mean, it's if you ask a German guy, I think really true Rieslings are awesome wines, right? Growing up with them and all that, I think there's obviously great, and they don't grow everywhere the same way as they grow in some of the Riesling producing areas, obviously. But so it's really, I mean, it's hard to predict the trend, but something new will come out. I haven't really seen anything in terms of like, or read anything that, this is what's going to be the next hot thing. I would think, cleaner wines, to be honest with you. I think the clean tasting, I want to say, wines that are not necessarily, hidden with flaws by putting a lot of oak in it and all these kind of things, right? I have gone away from drinking Chardonnays, to tell you the truth. I drink Sauvignon Blancs all day long, or maybe a Pinot Gris or something from France, or whatever, or even from here, or from Oregon Pinot Gris. But I'm done with the shorts. It's just they're too over oaked. They're too, they're just overdone, right? I mean, and I think it's good that the direction is going back from that, of getting a little bit more cleaner wines that taste like the grape would actually produce wines versus It's just alcohol you put in a barrel, and then you get a lot of oak to it. So that's my personal humble opinion about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. That's actually off of the cleaner wine thing, because that was going to be my answer. I think organic, right now, organic wines are the trend. Because what's going on is, even if you just slap organic on a label right now, you can fetch a higher price than normal. And not all of them are great, but a lot of them are really, really good. Kind of, yeah, organic's the way to is the trend right now. Also, pet nats. If you're looking for something a little bubbly, instead of going for a champagne, which can cost you, like a real Grand Cru can cost you from 70 to like hundreds of dollars, you could get a pet nat for like $15. It's like the original way of doing sparkling wine in the first place, and those are pop and pour. I think what's driving the market is we're getting a lot more younger people into wine. And the attention span of younger people, they don't want to set down a bottle and let it like age for a long period of time. They want something that's pop and pour. And a lot of organic wines are not organic, organic, but also like, I guess, fruit forward, low alcohol wines you can pop and pour those. Those are not meant to age. The tannins are not really that big. The acid is high, and it keeps you taking sips of it because of the acid. What ends up happening is because of all these people that are going towards who want to pop and pour wine and they don't want to sit it down. Winemakers are starting to make wines that are easier to just open up. You don't have to let it sit open for a long time to let it chill down or relax. It actually, you open up the wine and it's ready to go instantly. And so I think the youth is what's driving the market, and that's why we're going away from like the wines that have to be set down and they're going to spend a lot more money on to a little bit lower rate, lower cost of wine, a little bit cleaner wine, organic wine, and also wines that don't need to be aged. You just be on the beach and just pop it with your friends and have a good time. So that's where I think the market is going at the moment, towards that. Rosés are not going anywhere. They're just not going anywhere, because for a long time, a lot of guys thought it was a women drink only rosé, but now it's changed. A lot of guys are drinking rosé. I love rosé. so a lot of guys are drinking rosé. And I think that's actually opened up the market quite a bit for rosé. Those are the things. I think more organic. I think more clean. I think more pet nats. Petulant Natural is the name of the sparkling wine that I'm talking about, style wine. And rosés, they're not going anywhere. Chardonnay, I understand where you're coming from on the Chardonnay. They can tend to be, depending on the style, a little bombastic on the oak. But for me, if you can find, there's some out there, like if you're looking at Chablis out of France, so especially some of the ones that are not like crus, they tend to be non-oaked, and they're just beautiful wines and high acid, So I understand where you're coming from, but I think with Chardonnay you got to find it, because Chardonnay, because it's mass produced here, we kind of put it in a box. But there's so many different styles of Chardonnay, in my opinion, and they do relate well to food.
No, I definitely agree with you on that. I guess I was referring to the New World Charts that we have here in California. Many of them, right? There's a few of them that are unoaked, or they cut back on the oak. But yeah, if you go to Europe, it's a different ballgame. Like Old World Charts, most of the ones I want to drink I cannot afford, unfortunately.
I got a suggestion. I have a suggestion for you. There's one that I specifically really, really love, and it's not too far from where you are. It's in Santa Barbara, but it's based out of Santa Barbara, but you can find it anywhere. It's called Sandy, Sandhi. It's one of the better Chardonnays in California, in my opinion. It's done with mostly neutral oak, and it's just perfectly balanced. It's this guy Rajat Par, who's like a famous Somm, who's written books and whatnot. He actually spearheaded that project. It was his first project as a winemaker. Now he does it a lot more now. That one is one of my favorite Chardonnays in California, period. I think you like it.
Okay, I'll try it.
I like it. But I do have to say, Dieter, when you said Chablis and Jaton, I like, where are my fresh oysters? Freshly chucked oysters, with a good...
Some Blue Points?
Oh, man. You know, I do have to say that there are a few things I do miss from Europe. That's definitely one. Um, but hey, I remember first time I went to New York and I went to Central Station and I went to that oyster bar, on the bottom, and you go and then you want to order a Chablis, and then you see the price tag, and you nearly fall backwards, and then you're like, oh, you know what, Pinot Grigio will do.
There you go.
You gotta love the Italians for their price point on white wines. Like I believe Italian white wines and Spanish white wines are perfect for, like, you want something refreshing that packs a punch. Those tend to be value driven. You can find them. Well, you can find them at different levels, but a lot of them are value driven, and I tend to love them, especially on a warm day like this.
So what would you like Spanish white wines? I mean, off my head, not one name pops into my head. Um, which wines would you suggest, and where really could you find them? Because Spanish white wines, it's already hard enough to find Spanish reds, but Spanish
The
white?
best way, yeah, I mean, you can go to Trader Joe's. I know of a lot of Spanish wines that are in Trader Joe's that are really good. Also at Bevmo, too, Beverages and More. But some before, probably the most famous one is Albarino, Albarino. That's probably the most famous Spanish white wine that you can find under, like, I would say $20 and below. And that's a great wine. You're looking for floral, stone fruit. That's a really, really fun wine. Also Godello. That's spelled a little different. That's Godelllo. That one's more citrusy. It's more refreshing. There's some acid there. There's also some weight to that one. I tend to go for those two. Those are the two main ones that I look for when I'm looking for white wine. I mean, there's other ones, Vera, and there's other varietals, but those are the two main ones if you're just trying to figure out what kind of Spanish wines you like. Check out Albarino or Godello. And you can find them anywhere. You can find them anywhere. I mean, I think you guys have a Total Wines in your area, right? You can go to Total Wines and sure.
No, not Total Wines. Haven't even heard of it. Bevmo, yes.
Really?
Total Wines, no.
Damn it.
I probably would have discovered that one, but no. But then again, I want to really tell our viewers, why it's so interesting to watch your show, because now in the last 5 minutes, it's really what they see and get in your shows, your passion about the wine, and yeah, why not white Spanish? I mean, now even I am curious to rediscover white Spanish because I, it left such a little mark on me the last time I had a white Spanish wine that I don't remember it. So, of course, many people would attribute to me maybe tasting too much wine, but no, that really means that I don't remember because I was not impressed, put it that way. But now I want to rediscover it. Now
You might have had too much of it. That's why you don't remember what you had.
Well, if I have too much, usually I remember.
Okay.
That's a good problem
And
to
it was
have.
good. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I like Spanish wines. I actually in my book I have a whole chapter dedicated to, like, regions that are popular regions that everybody should know about, like Bordeaux and Sicily and things like that. But then I also have different types of wines that come from these specific areas, and I talk about the grapes or whatnot, and also talk about things that are hot, like the new hot areas. Like I was just saying, Sicily's a hot area for wine. People are loving that. Priorat in Spain is a great area for wine right now. Places like that are places that people should be looking to for value, and also looking to for complexity and great wine. I think those go really well, and you can find white wine and red wine there. So yeah, I have a whole chapter dedicated to that in my book.
Why don't you show your book again?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, after all, you have it. And I guess people can order it on Amazon.
No, you actually can go directly to fruitandglass.com. So you can go to fruitandglass.com. That's the name of the book, Fruit and Glass, FRUITINGLASS. You can go there, or you can if you're checking me out on Instagram, you can just go to the link in my bio, and my name is just my full name as my Instagram handle, Jaton Gunter. JATONGUNTER, and you can find me there too.
Well, Dieter, any last words of wisdom before we close the show?
Words of wisdom. You ask me for words of wisdom. That's a loaded question, but no, actually.
Hey, you know, I'm not going to look into the mirror and ask myself.
I keep my wisdom for myself. But here's you know what, in times of Corona, I think the one thing we need to do is drink a little bit more wine. And you know, unfortunately, the Zoom events, you know, sometimes I did a Zoom happy hour the other day, and it's dangerous, right? I mean, it can go way in the wrong direction, and you don't. I mean, and the good thing is though, you can click in and click out. You can, you know, when you have too much, you can. That's my wisdom here, right? When you have a little too much, you can just blame it on your internet connection while you left the meeting. If you're in a bar, you cannot get that easy out because the bathroom sometimes doesn't have a back door to get out of the bar somehow. So Zoom meetings are not that bad. So that's my wisdom right there for you.
Jaton,
I heard that.
any last words of wisdom?
For me, I don't know. I think I want to piggyback off what he just said. I think right now in these times, you need to drink more wine, eat better food, and have more conversations, whether it's Zoom or not. Because I think these like conversations is what is bringing people together, as opposed to like everybody being stuck in their home and not being able to go anywhere. People have been in certain types of careers that no longer are available to them even after the Corona is over. And so I think us just talking and reaching out to people that we haven't talked to in a while and drinking wine over Zoom and just, you know, just enjoying each other's company, I think that's key right now. So those are my words of wisdom. I think definitely support each other just by talking, I think is important right now.
Well, in this case, I'm going to quote you both. Whine a little.
There you go.
Wine a little.
Love it.
Wine a little.
Thank you so much for being on the Eric and Lizz show. And Lizz, shout out to you. I hope you're going to feel better soon.
Cheers.
Cheers, Liz.